folks. Good afternoon, good evening, when or wherever you may be. Uh, Another episode of my new format of Newswatch. Today I want to talk about something. This is recorded 17th of August. Today I want to talk about something. I want to talk about the floodings in China that have been severe. And before we even begin to talk about it, I want to extend my condolences and my solidarity to everyone affected by this flooding in China. I know it might be not that important from some anonymous YouTuber making a video that I'm not monetizing, but I think it's important to recognize that when we are reporting and talking about these things, I don't consider myself a journalist, okay? I just consider myself something, a person talking about things and giving his own opinion, okay? But I think it's important that when we talk about these things, that we should always recognize that this is affecting real people. And look, and it's meaningless if they live in another country, if they are of a different ethnic group than you, because at the end of the day, like the Buddhists say, we are all humans. Okay? We are all people. We are all living in the same planet, subjected to the same rules of engagement of life with us, okay, with different politics, with different religions, but we are basically people. So, first of all, to all of you in China that have been affected by this, my friends, my deep solidarity, the only thing I can give you. Now, folks, let's watch the video, then let's talk a bit about it. But this is just really, this is just reporting upon this because I think it's important. It is, we should not we should not look at these things as something that is just happening across the world. This is something that can be happening here today. And just recently here in Portugal, we had serious flooding. People died. People lost their property. People lost their lives. Okay, and it's important to look at these things and don't think, oh, this happens all the time. Yes, just because it happens all the time, it doesn't mean that we should be mindless and not talk about it and not recognize the pain and not recognize the difficulties of other people. Okay, let's watch this video, please.
Tropical storm Dolphin dumped heavy rain in eastern China on Monday, causing flooding and forcing authorities to cancel hundreds of flights. According to the Shanghai Airport Group, more than 900 flights, or about 40% of those expected, were cancelled in Shanghai's airports after about 1,300 were earlier cancelled on Sunday. State media reported Shanghai also suspended some of its metro lines, and China Railway Group suspended some 115 trains. Dolphin made landfall Sunday evening in the Zhejiang province with winds of 151 kilometers per hour after bringing heavy rain to northern Taiwan over the weekend. The storm had forced at least 760,000 people to preemptively relocate in the region, including over 390,000 in Taizhou. Moving northwest at 15 to 20 kilometers per hour, Dolphin was expected to continue weakening, according to the Chinese weather authorities.
All right. First of all, folks, sorry for the noise that you heard. It was my phone. I need to have it on uh, because of let's say it this way, because of one of the conditions of my line of work. I need to be reachable at any time. Okay, this seldom reaches me when I'm not on the clock, so to speak, but I always need to have it on because it's a precondition of my work. So as you can see, my dear Americans, sometimes Europeans also have to have their phone on even when they are at home, sitting like I am sitting near a computer and making a video. Now, first of all, kudos to the Chinese authorities that are apparently are being able to remove people from harm's way. I hope that the weather improves because the rain that they are getting now, it's brutal. I've seen other reportings about this, and it's really disheartening. Okay, and like I was saying, it reminds me again of what was happening here. And I have witnessed a lot of flooding events, and let me tell you something. It's look, when I was a kid and I was in the scouts, I think I already talked about this, but I will talk about it again. Whatever. I'm giving an example, but when I was in the scouts, when I was a kid, one village near my hometown, it got completely wrecked by a flooding, a flash flooding. Some people even died, but when we arrived at and this was a little village, not very big, around, I don't know, maybe 200 people. You get the picture. A very small place, couple of streets. But when we arrived, the houses themselves, because this had already happened in the past, the houses were built in a upper, with a difference around a meter and a half or something like that from the street itself, because this had already happened. So people, when they rebuilt their houses, they rebuilt them in that way to avoid this issue. That can happen, okay? It's rare, but it can happen. It can happen, and there's absolutely no one can do anything about it except move. And I understand you say, oh, they can do engineer this, engineer that. My friend, there are certain occasions where not even the sharpest engineering can save you from this type of events. And they will not even be, the houses are not built on floodplains, okay? Nothing like that. It's just that when certain atmospheric conditions apply, you have two rivers passing by, and if there are optimal conditions, the flooding will exceed the normal. That is absolutely normal to have some floodings near the near the rivers, okay, and it invades the the neighboring areas. But when I arrived there, look, it was absolutely brutal. You had streets that were completely covered in mud. You had cars that were on top of trees. You have people that had lost absolutely everything. They didn't even have bed sheets. Okay, after cleaning the houses, they didn't even have bed sheets. Luckily, they had running water because and electricity. Because in that aspect, the government was also very effective. They immediately took care of that. But you can see the suffering in the face of people, and this is why I tell you that you have to have some solidarity with others. Because I look at these people, and I also feel for them. And look, and I'm not talking about some kind of pathetic feeling. Oh, I'm feeling your pain and what. No, 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 no. I'm not that kind of person. I'm trying to tell you that when we look at these news, we have to put ourselves in the shoes of these people before we open our mouths to speak, to make jokes or to any kind of shit like that, because we are not just offending other people, we are offending ourselves, because we need to have an attitude of seeing the world as a whole. One of the biggest causes of our issues with global warming, with social inequality, with economic inequality, is our lack of understanding that our actions matter. And this is going to be a very short video, okay? No big rants, but I just thought that this was important to call the attention of the world to this, and to not just go back to the old one. Oh, it's China, they can do this, they can do that. No, it's China, yes. These are also people. And I would like you to at least, even if you're for your, like, I would like to. I'm not imposing anything, okay? I think that we should at least recognize to ourselves the suffering of others. And if we are called upon to help them, help people in suffering in any way, we should do it. I'm not talking about that pathetic thing like, this migrant crisis and people crying out and saying this and saying that. No, we are going to help the people, but we are also going to keep the laws of the state intact. Cannot have you cannot have what I this is my personal opinion, what the people that are behind this paying for this to happen, and I'm going to talk about this also in the video. We cannot let those people win. So we are going to take care of people and send them back. And that is all. You want to enter here, we have legal rules. We are not the United States. We are not the unfortunately I will have to say this. We are not the United Kingdom that don't have any legal paths to enter in the country or safe paths to enter in the country, to apply to live and work in the country. We are not those types of countries. We have absolutely clear ways of entering our countries, of applying to work here. We have absolutely clear ways to apply for asylum. We have all of that very clear. The simple fact that what is happening now is this: the time for tolerance for this type of gambits, like Mr. Putin in the eastern fronts or eastern borders of Europe, trying to shove migrants into our borders to destabilize our countries, just like the United States. This is my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. Just like what the United States is now trying to do to Spain, because it will be a very strange coincidence that Mr. Trump, that has been disliked by Spain, to not try to do a move like this. But again, separate stream. In this one, we are talking about China. We are talking about the floodings in China, and I would like to just say this: let's think about the Chinese people. They are people too, even if sometimes we don't understand them and they don't understand us. But they deserve our solidarity, and they deserve at least a kind word. Folks, thank you all for watching this video, and I hope to catch you all in the next one. Please stay safe and stay out of the heat, for God's sake. It's harsh outside.